are we, farmers?
Yes. Congrats. I'm so excited to see this film. I love Harry Dean. You knew him. Did you, when you were writing this, you had him in mind from the...
Oh, yeah.
From the start?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only person we...
Yeah, if he didn't do it, we would still just be sitting at Dantana's talking about a story.
That's right.
A story, yeah.
I love that because right after he passed, I was reminding my friend, I'm like, oh, you have a great picture with him at Dantana's because she used to always go to see him there. And there's a really sweet picture of them at Dantana's. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you just start creating this? What was the process?
We were driving back from Arizona working on a documentary Logan was making. And, you know, we just... filmmakers, so we're just talking about stuff. And, you know, we always wanted to work together. And... said, man, if I, you know, Logan knew Harry so well, and I said, man, if I were you, I'd just write a movie for Harry, you know, like something. And then we kind of sketched out a rough, really rough kind of concept of what that would be. And then we made a commitment. By the time when we pulled into LA, we made a commitment to one another that we would meet every day, 5 days a week, for 2 hours.
Even though we both had like 12-hour day jobs.
You're like, we're going to do it.
And then we wrote, and there were days that we met. We never wrote. Sometimes we would just talk, and then we wrote in like 3 months.
In fact, somebody was like, we were at UCLA, and somebody was like, well, what can you give us any advice? And I was like, the only thing I can say is we became obsessed.
I think you have to. You just have to become like obsessed with.
I keep using this word a lot, but it's like, you know, I keep saying this about Harry for me, but it's a muse, you know. So it's like that strong of a muse. You're like, we gotta write this. You gotta write this, you know. So it just becomes.
Yeah, it was
obsession.
out of our hands at some point.
Yeah, like you're like, we're going to do this. It's gonna. And when you brought Harry the work, what was his response?
Well, at first he goes, well, it looks like a lot of work. I go, yeah. But I go, no, seriously. I said, well, yeah, but we've peppered it with some of your best friends. They're great actors. You'll know what you're doing. It's going to be fun. And eventually he looked at Drago and I and said, well, I guess you made me an offer I can't refuse.
Love that.
I remember one day, we take turns sometimes, you know, depending on duty, on the shooting days, take turns like driving Harry home or picking him up. Or I remember one day I drove him home, and Harry loves to smoke. I mean, he loves to smoke. And we were driving away, I'm like, he was just sitting there. I'm like, hey, man, you want a cigarette? He's like, no. I knew that he was tired. I'm like, oh man, he doesn't want to see another cigarette.
Too tired to smoke.
And for him to say he doesn't want to smoke, that
was like a big deal.
Accomplishment.
Yeah. Because I always picture him like smoking with like a drink in his hand.
Yeah.
Like,
If he were here, he would have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth right now. In fact, when I used to do, I was his right-hand guy, so we'd take him along the red carpets. I'd stay in just out of frame. But as soon as we got to the front of the carpet, he'd throw a cigarette in his mouth and be like, all right, let's do this. You know, like, yeah.
You must have like the best stories then.
Oh, man. Oh, I got some crazy ones. Sometime I'll tell you off the record.
I would love to, because I love him.
Like who shot Jay, he won't be able to tell you until he...
Yeah, statute of limitations. There's a handful of other people that need to die first.
It's okay. I could take care of that.
I have an journal buried underground with a map, and only Drago's got the key.
Well, this seems just like such a beautiful tribute to him, and so perfect. Like just from what I've seen in the trailer and like reading about it.
Well, thank you.
When are you going to see it?
I don't know if they're giving me a ticket to see it now, but
opening weekend.
I will. Of course, I'm going to come opening weekend. Like I will take Corey. It has like all my favorite people in it. First of all, I love Ed Begley Jr. I love David Lynch. So like the cast is like my dream of like people in a room, basically.
That's beautiful.
Just don't bring the camera because we need to sell as many tickets as we can. We don't want to pirate the movie.
We won't go to like New York and sell them on the street like this guy.
Well, if you wore a one on your forehead, I would watch that version.
Well, I'll have,
especially like if you kept it on when you went and bought popcorn and stuff.
That would be the best. Or
the director's cut.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Like 7 more scenes, including a bathroom.
We added a few.
Yeah.
He'll do it because he's taller, so he could get like a good height. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Congratulations. It's been a pleasure to be both
Go
of
see
you.
the movie.
Of course I'm
All
going
right.
to. Of course.
Cheers.